Hey, thanks so much for finding the video. Do us a favor. If you haven't done so yet, please subscribe. Be sure to leave your comment. We love to interact. Enjoy the video. It's official. Marcus Williams has signed his franchise tender, so he will be a member of the New Orleans Saints in 2021 and very likely beyond that as well. This really was just a formality, but it didn't actually happen, him signing the tender, until Tuesday. So the franchise tag will guarantee Marcus Williams $10.612 million for this season. So he signed the tender, meaning he could play 1 year under that tender at $10.612 million, and then presumably hit free agency next year, or the Saints could tag him again next year. Or the Saints could agree to a long-term extension with Marcus Williams before July 15th. If they are going to agree on a long-term deal, that's when they'd have to get that extension done by July 15th. So I think the question becomes, a couple of things. Number one, this is really good news, and most importantly, because it avoids a sort of cumbersome quarrel between player and franchise. For example, 2014 Saints and Jimmy Graham. That's the last time the Saints used the franchise tag, and you remember how that played out. Jimmy Graham wanted to be classified as a receiver, and the Saints wanted him to be tagged as a tight end. The reason, obviously, is because the franchise tag value takes the average salary of the top 5 players at that position. Receivers are paid more than tight ends. So Jimmy Graham wanted to be tagged as a receiver, not a tight end, if you remember the whole story, how it went. And they had to go to an independent arbitrator. I mean, it was that contentious between Graham, his representation, and the Saints. And a short time later, of course, Saints traded Jimmy Graham to Seattle for Max Unger and a first-round pick, which I think became Stephon Anthony. So that's a bummer. But you understand, it can be contentious. Look at what the Dallas Cowboys and Dak Prescott have gone through the last couple of off seasons before agreeing to their deal this year. It is going to be interesting to see if Marcus Williams maybe bets on himself. We've seen some free agents do this. In this NFL offseason, we've seen some free agents sign 1 or 2 year contracts, deciding not to sign the 4 or 5 year deal, betting on the come, because the NFL TV deal is coming. A 17-game regular season is no doubt going to increase revenue with a new television contract. So the salary cap's going to go up. Salaries are going to go up. So guys who sign a free agent deal next year or the year after, presumably, would have a much bigger deal than they'd sign now. So maybe Marcus Williams decides to play a year on the tag this year, risk injury or a bad season. Or maybe he takes a long-term extension now, which would be team-friendly, where they could make, the cap number more team-friendly now and backload the deal. However they want to do it, they'll get to that eventually. But ultimately, what I will be most interested to see is how much the Saints are willing to invest in Marcus Williams. Because you kind of get the feeling when we talk about Marcus Williams that Saints fans look at him and remember the misses. They remember the Minneapolis Miracle. They remember some of the misplays and not the great plays. And I'm here to tell you, when you actually peel back the layers, Marcus Williams has been one of the best safeties in the NFL over the last 4 years. Again, it's one of those positions where you tend to only really notice when he does something wrong. But he's been incredible. Pro Football Focus ranked Marcus Williams, but if you're watching that free agent rank, that was all players at free agent, just ranking safeties in the NFL. They ranked him coming into the season the 13th best safety in the NFL. One spot behind Micah Hyde of the Buffalo Bills. Let's look at Marcus Williams' first 4 years in the league compared to Micah Hyde's first 4 years in the league. Hyde in 4 years played 63 games. Williams has played in 60. Regular season. Doesn't include playoffs. Hyde, 8 interceptions. Marcus Williams, 13. Hyde, 227 tackles. Williams, 246. Hyde just got a deal in Buffalo that pays him an average of $9.6 million. 2 years, $19.25 million contract. I mean, you can keep going. The number one safety in the NFL, Jamal Adams. Adams and Williams came into the NFL the same year in 2017. They were rookies in 2017. Jamal Adams played in 58 games. Williams has played in 60. Told you Marcus Williams has 13 interceptions. Jamal Adams, 2. Now, Adams has about 100 tackles more than Marcus Williams because he plays a little bit of a hybrid type position. But the point is, no matter who you line him up against, Marcus Williams in his first 4 years in the NFL has been as good as any safety in the NFL in the first 4 years currently in the NFL. So the Saints are going to be up against it because they're going to have to pay Marcus Williams like a top 5 safety in the NFL because that's what he warrants because he's played like that, even though sometimes we may not think it or we focus more so on the misplays and not the plays that he's made. But the plays he has made have been plentiful during his first 4 seasons in the NFL, which is why, in part, the Saints have been so bullish on him and why they decided Marcus Williams is the guy we're paying, not Trey Hendrickson, because Williams is the guy who's been consistently doing it over his first 4 years in the NFL, a guy who's in his physical prime, at a position that continues to see, as the NFL becomes more and more of a passing league, increased importance. So Saints are going to keep their safety tandem intact with Malcolm Jenkins and Marcus Williams. How much are they going to pay? I don't know, but you better believe it's going to be more on average than what they're going to pay him this year on the franchise tag. Marcus Williams officially signs his franchise tag. Will he play on the franchise tag this year, or will they get a long-term deal? I'm here to tell you the Saints will be much better off signing that dude to a long-term deal now, and there is risk because maybe his production declines after you've signed him to a deal. But you weigh risk and reward. What if the opposite is true? What if he plays 1 year, has an all-pro caliber season, and then next year with the new TV deal, you're paying him even more than you would now? So that is the risk that you run right now. The Saints are going to have to make that decision. But Marcus Williams is going to get paid, and he has now officially signed his franchise tender, so he will be in New Orleans regardless for the 2021 season. Hey, thanks so much for watching. Please leave your comments. I love to interact. And be sure to hit the red subscribe button below.